Hey guys, thanks for coming back to the channel. So today we're going to go over the F100, some of the updates we're doing on it, and we're also going to talk about some of the other projects we got going in the shop. So let's get to it. You're watching the Vasco Speed Performance YouTube channel. So we're here in Kansas City, Missouri, technically Lee Summit area, but it's February, and normally in February, it's really, really cold. So we've been super blessed, and we have had an amazing week. So let's go outside and check out some of the projects we got outside. Okay, so this is Cody's 1964 Lincoln Continental. It's on air ride. So we recently did a set of lifters in it because he was having an issue with one of them, and then we also put a Holley Sniper on it. But yeah, it's still has a big block Ford in it, which is pretty cool. But he brought it over here because his shifter went out of adjustment, and then as it did that, the starter went out. So we are kind of dead in the water out here with it, but luckily the weather's just been amazing. So with the weather being so nice, we're kind of just leaving it out here until we get a starter for it. We should have that later today. And this is a C30 that we did some work on a while back. We did a 6.6 gas swap in it. So if there's any of this stuff that you guys think is interesting, let us know in the comments so we can try to get some more information on it and maybe put some content out there for you guys to see. So this is a project that came to us. This is a Citation. So it's been converted to rear wheel drive. Pretty cool project. And it's got an 850 cage in it. Dennis Taylor did all the work. He's got a YouTube channel, so I don't know if he has any of this on there, but it might be something cool to see. But it's definitely different. It's an 80s car, and this was originally a front-wheel drive car, and so now, as you can see, it's she's got an LS in her. So we are building a turbo kit, and there's a lot of stuff to put into a small spot here, so that's kind of one of our challenges. But yeah, we're making it work. So we've got the whole hot side and cold side pretty much made. We're waiting on a couple things. We ordered a flange, so we need to get a flange for here to go from the T6 to a 3-inch. But I don't want to weld any more on this until we get that flange, so it'll be a couple days before we get that. Went ahead and made the downpipe. It's really challenging to get the downpipe, so this is kind of just tacked together, and we're going to see where it all lands. But we're going to try and have it snake right down in there, and when the tire turns, it'll be really close. But I think this is probably the best option for it. And then once we get it to there, we can figure out what we're going to do with it after that. I'm not sure on the size of the turbo. I think it's around an 80 millimeter. It doesn't even have a name on it, so I don't know. It's probably just a China boy one, but it is what it is. As you can see, the customer supplied these headers, so the headers come up, and then we fabricated this to wrap around, and then this pipe comes down and connects into there. We've got one wastegate there, and we'll have a second one there, so it should have good control there. And then the charge pipe's pretty simple, comes down through here, just goes up into here using Motion Raceworks Icon throttle body and one of their flanges with a quick connect, and it's also got their new blow-off valve. So pretty cool product. This is actually really nice. It welded on really, really good. Sometimes you get some cheap flanges, so that's
I'm changing who I am. I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life, and I won't look back ever again. Yeah. You ain't see me activated. You better hope that you never see me agitated. I think about my actions, plan them out, evaluated. That's how I end up on the top, man, I'm calculated. My mind's a weapon, my body is the engine. I'm never second guessing, I just do what I was destined. Cause I feel I got the blessing, persistence and obsession. That's how you keep progressing, I already learned that lesson, yeah. I'm changing who I am, I'm making.
Okay, update time on the F100. So we are going to show you how we get the fuel pumps in the new gas tank. We're also going to get the engine and transmission in and work on the front accessories because there's going to be some modifications required to get that done. Then we're going to work on getting the entire frame stripped back down, cleaned up a little bit, not perfect, and then we're going to repaint it and then reassemble it all. So here we go. So as you can see, we have these pre-made holes in the gas tank already. So this one's going to be for our fuel fill. This one's going to be for our level right?
Yep.
And then this one is where we need to cut for our Aeromotive fuel pump setup. The issue is there's already a hole there just like this, so there's no way to put a hole saw in the middle, and I want to move around. So Matthew is a genius, and he came up with this great idea. So what we're gonna do is we design this out on the plasma table, cut it out, and then it bolts into place, and then we'll stick our drill bit in the center of this, and then we use this and it'll cut it out, and hopefully if everything goes well, then we'll have a bigger hole. We get rid of all of that, and
The fuel pump. So
fuel pump goes right in there. So you think that'll work?
I don't know. We're gonna try.
All right, so here we go.
Aggressive.
You probably got to get rid of the beans.
I know. But I'm afraid it's gonna like.
Yeah, it's just your arm.
And the gas tank. It's just your arm. Yeah. Only that where we're going.
A few minutes later.
Boom! Okay, so now we got our hole drilled out. This is a template that comes from Aeromotive, right?
Yep.
And so then this just slides in here, like so. And then you have all these holes that you drill for your new bolt holes. So makes it pretty nice and pretty nice and simple. A pretty cool tool that they have there. So
Yeah, I'll get the holes drilled, then we'll test fit the sending unit, make sure it fits, and then we can get it off and get it cleaned out. And then the gas tank will be ready.
be ready to go, and then we'll have to find a fuel level sensor for that one. But other than that, should go together pretty good. We got the gas tank in. This is the gas tank that was supplied to us by Power by the Hour. So they pretty much have like a kit for the whole truck for doing a Coyote swap. So they came with a gas tank, came with this fuel pump from Aeromotive. It's got dual pumps. And then we've got a fuel level sensor. Obviously this is where the fuel will fill at. There's a brace that went across here that we had to take out, with rivets and stuff. So we took that out, and then we made this piece of chromoly tubing here. We made it bolt in like this for the bumper bracket. That way this can be removed if needed. Shouldn't have to, but should work pretty good. The gas tank, we also put nutserts into the frame rail. So if you go to take the gas tank out, you just undo the 4 bolts in the bottom, the tank comes out. As for the fuel lines, we have all of our fuel lines here. Let's go around this way. And as you can see, we've got bulkhead fittings here, and we've been running hard lines all the way up. And we've got another bulkhead right up here that we're gonna weld in place, but we wanted to make sure everything else was gonna work fine, so that's gonna go like that. We've got a fuel filter there, so you can change the fuel filter. And what else do we got? Oh, we put a Deutsch connector on the fuel level sensor for whenever we get ready to wire. Started doing some battery stuff. So basically our whole idea with everything on this was we wanted to do as much to the frame as possible before we paint it. So we're gonna drill all these holes, knock all the brackets and everything off of it, and then take it apart, paint it, and then put it back together. It's a lengthy process, but if you want it to look right, that's the way you gotta do it. Otherwise, you're cutting brackets off and then you're thinking, oh man, I gotta go back and clean that up after I already did something. So we mounted the battery to the frame here because we wanted as much room in the engine bay as possible. And then we put a battery disconnect switch back here. That way, if the truck sets for a while, you just want to disconnect the battery, just flip that switch. Should be good there. So yeah, now I'm gonna move up front, show you what you got. Okay, so here's the front of our Illuminator Coyote engine, and Power by the Hour sent us a complete kit for all the accessories. So since most of these vehicles come from the factory with electric power steering, we are putting a hydraulic power steering rack in it that comes with the QA1 front suspension. Well, we needed a power steering pump, so that's where this is at. Originally, the alternator would mount here, but with this, the kit comes here and it runs off this serpentine. And then it came with an AC compressor, so we got that on. We only had to cut off, there was like a little bracket right in there we had to cut off. Not a big deal. So now we're getting ready to put the alternator on, and the alternator actually mounts backwards. I'm not a fan of the way that looks. I just think it looks kind of goofy, but you know, in the instance that it is what it is, you don't really have a choice, so we will make it work. But in order to make the alternator bracket go on, you have to cut this boss down, you have to cut this boss down, you have to shave this one down, and then you have to cut out part of the front cover there. So yeah, it's kind of nerve-wracking when you got a brand new engine and you're getting ready to go cut some aluminum chunks off the front cover, but you know, we'll make the best of it. So I will set up the time lapse and show you how we do this and kind of go through all of that. Okay, so as you can see, I cut this little boss off. I cut this one down and I cut this one down. I also notched this. I'm not sure why they have you do that, but I mean, I guess we'll figure it out as we go. But I'm gonna go ahead and start putting the studs into these holes. There's already one up here, but I'm gonna put these studs in and then we're gonna get this alternator on and see how it all fits, and hopefully we don't have to cut anymore. Okay, so you can see how tight the alternator is back in here to front cover. And I don't have these bolts tightened down yet, so there might still have to be a little bit taken out. But as you can see, it's pretty tight in between here also. And there's like a rib on the alternators why they have you cut part of the rib off the front cover. But everything looks like it'll line up pretty good. So I think it'll work. I might have to shave a little more off that one boss down there just to keep the pulley from hitting. So I'll probably take it back off, do one last sanding, and then I'll throw it all back together. Okay, so we got all the front accessories on. And as you can see here, this is the power steering pump. It's actually a pretty nice little bracket by Power by the Hour. It's got all these holes so you can kind of clock it. And I clocked it this way because that's kind of the way they had it in the pictures. This will go from your reservoir to fill the pump. There's your pressure hose that comes down here. We still have to get a steering column made for it once we get it down in the intermediate shaft. And then this is our oil block off that came with the Power by the Hour kit. This will go to basically like a remote oil filter. So we're gonna mount that up here somewhere and run the hoses on that. But AC compressor, it's on. Alternator is on. Alternator seems to clear everything, which looks good. We went ahead, and since I was making battery cables from the back to the front, went ahead and made this alternator wire. And this wire here is just gonna come down here and then go under. I secured it all the way, and it's just gonna tag off of the starter for power. And then we will have another source of power up here up front. I'm not sure where we're gonna get that from. I don't know if we're gonna run another cable or what, but you'll have to have power up for everything else. So we'll work on that. But next up, what we're probably gonna start doing is finishing some of the brake lines. So as you can see, when we do our power steering hoses, we're gonna have our boy over at Finishing Lines make those for us. He made our front brake hoses for us. Super nice, crimped. He makes them all sorts of colors and stuff. We got a bulkhead fitting here, so it's a nice clean look for it. And then we've got 3 bulkhead fittings up here. So I believe this is the right front, this is the left front, and this is for the rear. So you come around here. We made stainless lines and mounted it all nice underneath there. And then we are going to run a stainless brake line all the way back. And then we are going to have this mount on the rear end somewhere, and then this little chassis tab will weld here. So that'll probably be the next thing I do. So oil cooler and brake lines, and then I think we should be good to start disassembling and get ready to paint the frame. And then we can lower the body down on it. What you doing, Matthew?
Oh, prepping this F100 frame so we can get ready to paint it.
Heck yeah. We got it all buzzed apart today, so.
Yeah, we got it all stripped down this morning and getting it prepped and sanding all the rough spots and getting the extra slag and stuff wire brushed off of it.
Heck yeah.
We can get it set up to paint.
Cool. We'll knock that out today, hopefully, and then, or at least get it cleaned today, and maybe at least get some of it painted today, and then kind of go from there. Okay. So we got the frame all cleaned up. We got a tarp down. Went to the old Harbor Freight to pick up a cheap tarp, and Matthew's in finger painting class, so he's gonna get the inside of the frame and the top of the frame painted, and then tomorrow we're gonna flip the frame over and paint the bottom side. The bottom side is probably what's gonna be seen more than the top side, so we're gonna try to focus a little bit more on that. If we need to touch up some of this, we can. So that's kind of where we're at with this. But we went ahead and put up some plumb bobs here so that when we go to line up these cab mounts with these cab holes, we will be able to do that. So that's kind of what those are hanging there for. Okay, so we got our first main coat on the frame. As you can see, it's kind of shiny. So once it dries, it'll level out and it'll actually like get rid of the shine so much so it won't look so shiny, obviously. But we are gonna finish touching up some of the cracks and the small spots, and then we will flip it over and do the rest of it tomorrow. But this is a cheaper alternative to powder coating. So this is actually like it's just a paint like for industrial equipment, enamel, and we just get it from like our local like tractor, you know, hardware store type place, like a farm and home kind of place. So yeah, but we brushed on in the cracks and then we rolled it on with a roller, and it's actually, I think it'll look pretty dang good. So we will pick up this video tomorrow and you'll kind of see what it looks like dry, and then we'll flip it over and give the rest of it a coat and then touch up whatever we need to, and then we should just be able to start reassembling, and we can drop the cab back down on it and rock and roll with this thing. So I'm pretty excited. It'll look so much better once the frame's all painted, just with all these fancy nice new parts on it. So but we want to make sure we get good coating all over it. That's what we're going to do our due diligence to flip it over. And you know, this is part of the process. It takes a while to do it if you're doing it this way. But you know, obviously we could have powder coated it, we could have sandblasted it, but then you know that takes time. Taking it on a trailer somewhere and have it sandblasted, and then then immediately got to take it somewhere and have it powder coated, and who knows how much that's going to cost. So the customer said, you know what, let's just do this. It's going to be cheaper, and we can focus putting the money towards things that are going to be more important to him. So we were down for it. So we will start off tomorrow and kind of show you how it looks.
Brad's out here drilling on the frame before we paint the bottom side of it. You look heartbroken.
You know how hard it is to get this stuff warrantied out? Son of a gun. Look at that thing.
It broke right off in there.
It was like going all good. It's like, yeah, it was like, snap, not today.
Yeah, even the first hole was all jagged.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't break on the first one.
I don't know. That was a good thing I did it. Now, back to seeing if I can break another drill bit. You think?
I think it looks like a black frame.
I think it turned out pretty good.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, it had been painted before, so you can kind of see some of the brush strokes in it, but for the most part, it's doing really, really good. So what we're going to do today is we are going to take the frame and flip it over, and we'll paint the other side and then let it dry, and then we can go back to assembling. So it's kind of our game plan for the day, right?
Yep.
So it's kind of a real crappy, windy, snowy day. Supposedly we were having a blizzard. So just the other day it was 70 degrees, and then today it's like snowmageddon, blizzard, yeah, ice. You do want a really good set of drill bits. Matco does sell these drill bits, and each one of them's like a stepper bit, and so they will warranty this row and they will warranty this row, but you're on your own on this row. So we try not to use the first row a whole lot.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of holes that are only supposed to be a 1/4 inch, but they end up with the 17, 16. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh gosh. But yeah, so we'll get back to this tomorrow and start laying out some parts and putting parts back on for the final time, which will be nice. It'd be nice to tighten everything up for the last time on it.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode. So thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Have we told them about what we're doing, upcoming videos out here?
No, I don't think so. Does this mean we're going to have to walk over to the other garage?
It's kind of cold to walk over to the other garage.
It is, but it's probably I mean, it's not that
Why
far.
don't we do a video when we bring it out?
That's true. That's true.
So we're gonna let you know a little something. So we can't have a speed shop and not be out racing. So yes, I have my Camaro. Matthew's got his whole fleet of Honda Boy stuff and all sorts of trucks and turbo LSs and stuff. So we thought it would be fitting to build a Vasco Speed Performance shop car. So we acquired the shop car, and now we got to do some stuff on my Camaro to get it ready for the season before we start on the new shop car. But we'll do a video on the stuff we're going to do to my car, but then we'll start a build series on the shop car. So you guys get to see the whole process and how we do all that. So that's going to be exciting ones.